Hey everybody, I'm going to show you something, hopefully this helps. I'm going to call this call resiliency. Hopefully with 2.1 all this gets resolved, but let me go ahead and share my screen. So this is my new update contact workflow, and I'm actually going to zoom in quite a bit so you can see what's going on. We're not going to worry about this voice or chat flow. I mean, y'all can watch my other videos or somebody else's videos on how to do that. Right now the point of this is call resiliency. So we're going to come all the way down into phone. So what I had been happening was if there was contact information missing, like let's say an email was gone and it wasn't sent on the payload to GHL, it would still accept the rest of the contact information, and I could just say yes, it has all, and it would update all the contact fields, which is great. That's what you want to happen. The problem is if it didn't have anything or something was malformed, it would say, hey, because email is NA or unexpected or whatever, it would skip the whole step. This one right here, updating contact fields, it would skip the whole step. So I did something kind of crazy. And what I did is I created this flow where it says, hey, do I have all of them? Great, go ahead and update. If not, do I at least have first name? If yes, then update the first name. I think this is crazy. This is not something you should build if you're not having an issue with it. My problem is I was taking in all these fields and a single issue all of a sudden was breaking it. So this is a way around it. I'm going to give you some words of warning. If you build this out, you're going to have to build it out for every single client because you can't copy it. If I copy this right here, everything you see on the screen, if I just go back to workflows, hit copy workflow to a sub account, it's going to pass everything through except for right up here, the trigger with the mapped information. So because that mapped information won't be there because it's going to be a new trigger link, all of these values that you're searching right here, if I click has first name, for example, this will be empty. First name will be empty, is empty, first name empty, does not contain, and guest, all empty. So you're going to have to come back in and reselect for every single one of your clients. So I'm really excited about 2.1 because that's extractions. And if extractions come in on 2.1 without needing a whole bunch of background work, like this update contact, this costs another 1 cent or 2 cents every single pull. So if it's built into the system, that'll make life easier and cheaper for everyone. And then actually delivering will make life easier. And I'm really excited. Jordan mentioned that today, that on the call, that there will be extractions back in voice. So I'm excited about that. Now this, I told you this was called resiliency. Props to, oh no, I'm gonna say your name wrong, man. I'm gonna do it. When I can think of your name, I'll say it. But so this is an IVR trigger. So right here, this is my demo account phone number. It's an LC phone number, but it's attached to GHL. So when I pick in phone number, I click here, it'll only show me phone numbers that are associated to the GHL account inside of settings phone numbers. I said, hey, when that call is made, I got these retry counters. I'll get to that in a second. But I push it through and calling to a bot. This is a direct number, an assistable phone number that's assigned to the bot. I can get more into detail on how this works, but basically it's just forwarding the call. It's just forwarding the call to the bot. Now what's cool about this IVR is if the call is completed, you can then end the call manually so that they don't hear any GHL hold music. And if the call comes back as, say, no answer or none or voicemail, you can track these things. But for specifically no answer and none, which none just means for some reason that call status isn't selectable inside of here. Like all these statuses are statuses that GHL says, these are the potential statuses you can get from IVR. But I also happen to note that there's a status called error, but error is not selectable here. So I don't know all of the values that can come back. I just know error is not selectable. So none, I actually just say, if it's not any of the other ones, it's none. And I said, hey, call missed, expected that it was as a failed result. So if the call was failed, if the call was not answered, if the call was busy, which for those of you who know, you can't do this with busy. It doesn't really break anything anymore, but If the call is busy, no answer, or error, it'll go through this retry counter. This retry counter will then add a +1 to the retry counter, which is specific to that user or that location. Sorry, that customer, and then a location busy call counter, so we can see how are they doing overall with all time. How many errors are they getting with calls? And then we can say, hey, if the attempts are less than or equal to 3, then go ahead and do the go-to function, come back and try and call that bot again. So just think about this real quick. Somebody calls in, it goes into no answer, it goes through, adds 1 to the retry, and calls again. And now this time the bot answers. That's amazing. Now I have the call counter turned on because I don't want it to try and call a million times in a row until it succeeds. And then I also have that call counter because what we can also do here is say if that bot doesn't answer after 3 times, we can either notify somebody or we can try and call a different bot. So just imagine right here, instead of just canceling and going into wait, we can actually forward it to another bot, either with make AI call or pass it into another IVR workflow. I'm not exactly sure how that will work, but I think that's pretty cool. If you've been having issues with either, reliability and updating contact information and you need it fixed now, I call this a stopgap. It's not the perfect solution, but it works if you need it for a very demanding customer. And then if you have a issue with your answer rates dropping, for some reason bot's not answering, you're getting a busy signal, no answer, or an error, or you just want to be able to track that. This IVR by Platon Belmont. Thank you, Platon. Hopefully I said your name right. But this will really help. It's really helped me, because imagine you have a 70% call rate, but you loop through 3 times. That 70% goes to 94%. That's way better. That's more than reasonable. And that's way better than what a secretary is going to do, considering most small businesses only answer, 60% of inbound phone calls? So you're killing it with this. And you can loop it 5 times if you want. So anyways, Jakin, I hope you all had a good one.